During the weekly wrap-up, the new intern suddenly switched the projector to my attendance record. The eyes of the CEO and the entire company locked onto me in an instant. The intern, Madison, tilted her chin up with a smug grin and slammed a stack of photos onto the mahogany conference table. Nate, I'm reporting her. She's been using the company's luxury vehicle to pick up her kid every single day. It's a blatant misuse of company assets for personal gain. I move for immediate termination. Nate's face turned as dark as a thundercloud. I looked at this ambitious intern with a flicker of genuine pity. She was so desperate to climb the ladder, she hadn't noticed the rungs were made of glass. The company car she was referring to? That was my Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a $300,000 piece of machinery. For the sake of closing deals and keeping the firm's image afloat, I had let the company use it for free for 2 whole years. The silence in the room was absolute, the kind of heavy quiet that precedes a storm. The central AC was humming at a steady 68 degrees, but a chill crept into my bones that had nothing to do with the temperature. It was the coldness of human nature. In the photos, the black Cullinan gleamed under the streetlights, parked in front of an elite private preschool. The angles were sharp, intentional, capturing me leaning down to lift my daughter, her small arms around my neck, with the last 4 digits of the license plate clearly visible. Madison leaned her hands on the table. Her face, young and flush with the misplaced zeal of a corporate crusader, burned with a self-righteous fire. She looked at me as if I were a common thief caught with my hand in the vault. Nate, according to the employee handbook, company vehicles are strictly for business use. As a senior executive, Ms. Mercer shouldn't just be setting an example. She should be the standard. Instead, she's turned our most expensive client-facing asset into her personal nanny cam on wheels. School runs, grocery trips, weekend getaways. It's all here. Her voice was crisp, echoing off the glass walls. She clicked to the next slide, revealing a detailed Excel spreadsheet. I've done the math. Between the commute and the school runs, she's putting an extra 25 miles on the odometer daily. Between the fuel consumption of a V12 and the depreciation, we're looking at thousands in hidden costs every month. And that's not even counting the billable hours she's stealing from the company driver. She turned to the head of the table, Nathaniel Cross. Nate. Nate was my college classmate. He was the founder of this firm. In the early days when he couldn't even cover payroll, I was the one who dipped into my savings to keep the lights on. Later, when we needed to project an image of success to land the big fish, my 5-year-old BMW didn't cut it. Without a second thought, I brought in the Cullinan I'd bought myself as a 35th birthday present, a car I'd owned for less than a month. I told him back then, take it, use it. We need the clients to see we're already in their league. That temporary favor had lasted 2 years. I paid for the gas. I paid the insurance premiums. I covered the maintenance. Sometimes when the driver was overwhelmed, I even drove to JFK myself to pick up VIPs. Everyone in this building knew that car was mine, or at least they should have. But looking at Nate now, there was no defense in his eyes. His brow was furrowed, his fingers drumming rhythmically on the table, a nervous habit he had whenever he was weighing his own interests against someone else's. Diana, Nate finally spoke. His voice was low, coated in a professional coldness that felt like a slap. The evidence Madison provided, is it true? I stared at him, my heart skipping a beat. Is it true? 2 years ago, when he begged me for the car to save face, he said, Diana, I'm so sorry to ask this of you. As soon as we're in the black, I'll buy you a brand new one. 1 year ago, when the cash flow dried up, I used that car as collateral for a bridge loan so he could pay his staff. He told me then, Diana, this car is the company's lifeline. It's your badge of honor. And now, he was asking me if it was true. I scanned the room. George, the sales manager, had used that very car last week to pick up his mother-in-law from the hospital, bragging on Instagram about company perks. Now, he kept his head down, intently studying his legal pad. Sarah from HR, who asked for the keys every other month for supplies but really just wanted to cruise with her boyfriend, was looking at me with a sneer, as if I were a white-collar criminal. It turns out that in the face of profit, kindness isn't just cheap, it's invisible. What do you think, Nate? I asked. My voice was calmer than I expected. Nate avoided my gaze. The photos speak for themselves. Diana, you've been with us since the beginning, and we're friends, but a policy is a policy. We have to separate the personal from the professional. That's a fundamental principle. He paused, a look of grim determination settling over his features. Here's how we'll handle this. You'll hand over the keys immediately. From now on, the vehicle will be managed strictly by the administration department. Additionally, the finance team will calculate the fuel and depreciation costs Madison outlined and deduct them from your next paycheck. Madison's lips curled into a triumphant smirk. She looked like a cat that had finally caught the prize canary. Thank you, Nate. That's very fair. Also, I think a formal apology in front of the whole staff is necessary. This kind of behavior rots company culture. Nate hesitated, glancing at me briefly before nodding. We'll skip the speech. A company-wide memo detailing the disciplinary action will suffice. A company-wide memo. A docked pay. Confiscation of my own keys. I looked at Nate's familiar face and realized I didn't recognize him at all. It was my car, but I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I didn't reach into my bag, pull out the title, and throw it in his face, because I saw the naked ambition in Madison's eyes, and I saw the calculated greed in Nate's. She wanted to use me as a stepping stone. He wanted to seize the chance to finally claim the company limo as his own, permanently turning my generosity into his asset. 2 years is a long time, long enough for people to develop the delusion that what they've been allowed to use actually belongs to them. Fine, I said. I stood up, reached into my bag, and pulled out the heavy, leather-bound key fob. I placed it gently on the conference table. The thud it made was small, but it felt like a gavel coming down. There are the keys. I accept the memo. I looked at Nate, a slight knowing smile touching my lips. I hope this car brings the company all the luck it deserves. Nate clearly hadn't expected me to fold so easily. He blinked, a flash of relief, and then greed, crossing his face. I'm glad you understand, Diana. It's for the good of the firm. Madison snatched the keys off the table, gripping them tight as if they were a golden ticket to the C-suite. See, Diana? If you'd just been honest from the start, it wouldn't have come to this. I looked at her with pure pity. She didn't realize what she was holding. She thought she'd snatched power. In reality, she had just grabbed a live grenade, one that was about to blow this company to pieces. The memo hit everyone's inbox 30 minutes later. The subject line was a serrated blade. Disciplinary notice regarding misuse of corporate assets. Operations Director Diana Mercer. It detailed my crimes with surgical precision, the long-term unauthorized use of the firm's flagship Cullinan for personal errands, picking up children, and shopping trips. It cited a severe breach of asset management protocols and conduct unbecoming of leadership. I sat in my office listening to the murmurs drifting over the cubicle walls. Unbelievable. She always acted so high and mighty, but she's just another cheapskate skimming off the top, right? A Cullinan? That's a $400,000 car, using it as a minivan? Some people have no shame. Do you think she actually thought Nate wouldn't notice? Even he doesn't drive it that often. Madison really did us a favor. It's about time someone cleaned house. I took a sip of my coffee. The bitterness coated my tongue, but it couldn't touch the coldness in my chest. The door swung open without a knock. Madison walked in, clutching a clipboard. She didn't just walk. She marched. Diana, finance finished the audit. Based on the mileage logs over the last 24 months, you owe the company $128,000 in fuel, maintenance, and depreciation. She slammed the paper onto my desk, looming over me. Nate already signed off on it. You have 3 days to settle the balance, or it'll be liquidated from your year-end bonus and equity dividends. I picked up the sheet and scanned the numbers. They were incredibly thorough. They had even counted the miles I drove to the dealership for the car's scheduled maintenance as personal use. 128,000, I mused. You're quite the mathematician, Madison. I'm efficient, she snapped. I know you're bitter, Diana, but these are the rules. You enjoyed a lifestyle you didn't pay for. Now, the bill is due. Enjoyed? I leaned back in my chair, looking her dead in the eye. Do you have any idea what the insurance on that car costs annually? Madison hesitated. The company pays it, obviously. No, I do. $50,000 a year. And the maintenance? Also me. Over 10 grand a service. Well, that was your choice. You're the one who drove it, Madison stammered, her logic beginning to fray. Do you even know who brought that car into this office 2 years ago? Who cares? It belongs to the company now, Madison said, waving her hand dismissively. Don't try to deflect. Pay the money. The keys are in my possession now. If you need a car for work, you'll have to submit a formal request form. I'll be the one approving it. She would be approving it. An intern who had been here less than 90 days was going to approve the operations director's travel. The sheer absurdity of it was almost cinematic. Understood. I picked up a pen and signed the confirmation slip with a flourish. I'll settle the debt. Madison snatched the paper back, a look of pure, unadulterated triumph on her face. Smart move. Oh, and Nate told me to tell you, we have a massive client coming in next Monday. He specifically requested the Cullinan for his transport. Make sure you clear out all your personal junk. I don't want the client seeing car seats or teething toys. It's embarrassing for the firm. Will do. I agreed so quickly it almost startled her. Madison turned and walked out, her heels clicking against the floor like a victory drum. I watched her go, then pulled out my phone. I checked my bank balance, more than enough, and then dialed a number I had saved under legal. Hey, Robert, it's Diana Mercer. Yes, I need to consult on a few things. Illegal seizure of private property, back payment of unauthorized expenses, and potential fraud. Evidence? I have everything. Every wire transfer, every service receipt, every insurance binder from the last 2 years. All in my name. I hung up and opened my bottom desk drawer. I pulled out a thick manila folder. Inside were the original documents for the Rolls-Royce, the sales contract, the title, the tax certification. And there, in bold ink under registered owner,